I'm Duncan Green. Welcome to Gym Hacks, your daily 10-minute dose of tips, techniques and innovations to make your fitness club stand out, more fun to run and more profitable. 600 seconds of takeaways that will make a difference. Our aim is to provide the very best free content on the web for you gym owners and operators. If you like our content, register for our free 6-week Exponential Growth Formula program. We're helping fitness club professionals generate the maximum revenues possible. Register below to enroll on the next program, which starts on the 1st of next month. Once you've registered, we'll send you the logins automatically. Also, check out our unique implementation service. This is a 100% done-for-you program of effective fitness club marketing, and it's supported by the strongest guarantees anywhere in our sector. Click below for details on this incredible service. But right now, let's get back to today's gym hack. Today I'd like to talk about retention. Possibly the most difficult of all the 8 processes to impact, but probably the most important. What I'd like to do today, I want to look at the consequences of positive retention and negative attrition. And those consequences we're going to look at on a financial level. So you can see the difference between a club that has a very strong member retention policy and those that are weaker. And it's possibly to see the financial benefits of each. It's about customer retention, the ability of a club to retain a paying customer. Conversely, it's also described as the amount of attrition that a club has. The negative side of retention is attrition, people leaving. And actually the best metric for the measurement of a club's ability to keep its people paying is attrition. And there is a very clear formula which I urge you to learn. And this is how, and we're going to go into this when we cover the measurement program in this course. We're going to cover this in great detail about how this is derived, where the numbers all come from how they're reported to you, and how you can, on an ongoing basis, trend your monthly levels of attrition. So it's measured as a percentage on a calendar month basis. And the formula is on the top line, the number of people who stop paying you and the number of people who didn't renew. They were advanced payers whose contract term or whose lump sum had reached the end of its payment life and they were expected to renew. So the top level are the people who no longer are paying you, the club. And underneath that are the base level members, which is the total number of possible paying members in that month. And we multiply that fraction by 100 to get a percentage. How we use that is we've used this graph a few times in the program so far. But down the left-hand column here is the amount of monthly attrition, the figure that we've just calculated. 3% at the top, 10% at the bottom. And along the x-axis, the top here, you'll see the number of years in the report. And so I think for the benefit of today, let's assume that you like to report what the impact of your monthly attrition is on the number of months on average that a member of your club will pay you. So we're going to look down this red column, this 3-year column. If you have a monthly attrition of 3%, then on average, members will pay 13 months, whatever that yield is, but they will pay you 13 monthly transactions before they expire. Conversely, if your monthly attrition is 6%, then instead of getting 13 payments, on average, you will now get 9.5. So that's significant. And what I'm going to show you later on is equating that as a value of money. So you can see, one, just how important it is to keep your attrition as low as possible, but also how you can see how much investment you can make in order to drive down the level of attrition, drive up the level of retention. Now, we're going to talk, as always, about a system that you can use. And in this case, it's a fitness club customer service pyramid. And we're going to talk through the pyramid with you. But before we get into that, what I'd like to share with you are the average attrition levels at the different types of models that are within the different types of clubs that operate right now in our communities. So at the top of the pile, you have your premium full service clubs, high joining fees, high monthly dues, tend to be well staffed, tend to offer a full range of services. On average, their attrition per month will be as low as 2 to 4%. In the mid-range full service clubs, and this is particularly the local authority sector, the trusts, the full services, but have cut back on their staffing levels since COVID, they will be in the 5 to 8% of monthly attrition. And then at the lower end, the low cost, high volume clubs, where there is very little staff, perhaps personal trainers, but only if you pay for them, no integral service, then what you're going to see there are far higher levels of attrition, and they're going to reach 9 to 12%. Now, you're probably thinking, big deal. I don't have a premium club and I don't want any staff, so I'm quite happy to suck up 9 to 12%. Well, what I'd like to do now is just to show you exactly what happens when your attrition is at those sort of levels. And our spreadsheet shows a 3-year projection of revenues for our club. And our club is a mid-range full service club. Right now, it has 1,000 members. They're paying on average £40 a month. They sell 15 new customers a month, and they do a modicum of secondary spend. Normally it's personal training, rentals of £1,500. But what we're most interested in today is their monthly attrition. And for the purpose of this program, we're assuming that their monthly attrition is about 6%, And you can see that in each of the 3 years, it remains at 6%. Now, with that metric, 1,000 members, they start off with 1,000. They're all paying £40 a month. 50 people are joining, but 6% are leaving every month. This is what they're totaling in revenue. And you can see in the first year, they touch 465,000. But in years 2 and 3, you see it starts to diminish. And this is because their attrition is starting to outweigh the number of sales. And therefore, the club is getting smaller every year until it reaches a point that the number of sales, the 50 new sales, is matched by whatever membership level number 6% of equals the same 50. So 50 join, 50 leave. We now know that on this case, that 1.3 million is the 3-year aggregated revenue from this club with those sort of sales performance and that sort of attrition. I want you to imagine that you're persuaded to invest in more staff to provide more services. And we'll discuss again about the type of services that really do have an impact on your members. But that 6% goes down to 3%. If you watch the red figures, these are the differences that just that single metrics of moving from 6% to 3% a month, which is enjoyed by the premium full service high staff clubs. So have a look, see what difference it makes to your overall year-on-year revenue and your aggregated 3-year revenue. So you can see a reasonable return in the first year of 84,000. In the second year, that ratchets up over doubles to £196,000 difference. And in the third year to 265,000. And over the 3 years, you can see that change in attrition gives you an extra £500,000. That's nearly about a 40% increase in your gross revenues by altering your retention by 3%. And so by knowing these numbers and by being able to measure it, so you can then persuade yourself and anybody else who needs it that levels of investment can be justified and can be very profitable for you to run. So there are a number of benefits to a low attrition rate. As we've just seen, the more revenue you make per customer. The second reason is that the better the club, the more likely your members are to refer. The better the club, the more likely you are to be able to charge significantly more money. Because you are generating sufficient more revenue from everybody that joins, it means that you can deploy more money in order to recruit the customer in the first place. You are likely to achieve greater levels of positive testimonials, which is going to help to build the profile of your club and drive more customers. As we've seen, when your attrition drops, so you avoid that point of the equilibrium, when the amount of sales in equals the amount of sales out. You can grow to a much higher level of memberships and money before you reach this point of equilibrium. And that's really important. When we've seen casualties in the business side of the fitness industry, it's been because they reached equilibrium too early before they were profitable. And what you must always avoid is that you reach equilibrium only once you reach profit. And you need to require fewer members in order to reach those budgets. Thanks ever so much for listening. See you next time.